That 2 is the number. Welcome in, y'all. CHGO Bulls Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings, so you can use that code CHGO when you sign up. I'm right now rolling with you. I am Big Dave. Follow me at Bow Sports. That man right here, the Quaff King, Will the Go Gottlieb. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb, because he is grown. And that man down there with the number 23 on of a person who should be in the Hall of Fame right now, ladies and gentlemen, that is our guy, Kyle Williams. I always mess up your Twitter, and I don't never want to get it wrong, so please tell it to me.
K_Williams Media.
That's what it is. DJ Joey Spathis on the 1s and 2s on the board. Follow him at Joey Spathis. He says he's going backwards. We need him to go forwards on that quest to 1K. 104-98 is the final score. The Bulls on the losing end in Toronto. And honestly, guys, it felt like two things. It felt like three-point shooting and definitely offensive rebounding. I believe they shot 42 threes to the Bulls 25.
That is correct.
If I'm not mistaken. And as far as offensive rebounding were concerned, 19-6, including that exclamation point offensive rebound at the end there, Kyle.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes came alive, particularly in the fourth quarter. And, I mean, it was just that offensive rebound signified everything in that game. It was just him out hustling for an offensive rebound, 2 points to Toronto, and then he even came down, and it was a goaltend, but he tried to block a shot that, I mean, the game was already over. And, you know, Toronto just they don't have a traditional big outside of Jakob Poeltl, but they're just so big. Like OG and Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, even Gary Trent is 6'5". They just they at the wing position, they just have a bunch of strong and guys with length, and it shows on the offensive glass.
Length and athleticism and offensive rebounding. I mean, that is what the Toronto Raptors do. They're the fourth best offensive rebounding team in the league. Mm-hmm. They force the most turnovers, which you saw tonight from the Bulls' end, and they get a ton of second chance points. And those are like the things that the Bulls are supposed to be good at, right? Is that they outscore you from the free throw line. Because they're not a three-point shooting team, they have to beat you with more efficient mid-range shooting. They have to get to the free throw line, and they can't turn the ball over. And then they got to finish plays with defensive rebounding. The Raptors just out-strengthed the Bulls, right? Like, they took their strengths, and they just beat up the Bulls at them. I mean, if you're not going to be able to adjust your game plan, and, you know, I'm getting a lot of questions about Billy Donovan in this. Yes, it's you know, there's probably some coaching adjustments that could have been made in terms of lineups and rotations. But at the end of the day, if like the other team is just beating you up and preventing you from playing to your strengths, then what can you do? Like the Bulls can't just become a three-point shooting team on days where they're not getting to the free throw line. It was just a bad recipe.
Yeah. And again, I'm glad you got into Billy, because that's kind of where I was going with that. Because obviously when the Bulls lose, he's going to take a brunt of these things and of these situations. But I wanted to know your opinion on how he played Alex Caruso. He got 26 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, was solid. But he had a tall task, you know, and having to go against Pascal Siakam. And, I mean, we talked about him in the pregame, just how great he's been. And, I mean, just off of size alone, Alex Caruso, you know, is going to struggle a little bit. But I thought Billy tried to do his best, you know, with switching out, you know, Caruso and Patrick Williams, who I thought had a really solid game. I mean, he had 8 points. Nobody likes the 1 rebound and things like that, but we thought he got injured. Glad to see he came back in. But in that third quarter, you know, hits a 3, you know, gets a pump fake, gets another bucket. We were happy to see those things from Pat. But a lot of people just wanted to see him out there strictly for that rebounding. Will, how do you feel about that one?
I mean, Pat's been a guy that's given up offensive rebounds in key moments all year. I don't really think that the Bulls are in a position where they just like have a bunch of guys they can filter through. You're not going to play Drummond and Vooch out there together. Yeah. The Raptors, I thought, did a really smart thing closing out the game, which was getting Vooch switched onto Siakam so that when Siakam was isolating and getting a shot up, Vooch wasn't down there to defensive rebound.
Yes.
And Vooch is like, it's one of those situations kind of like Robin Lopez, where he would basically box out every single person on the other team so that somebody on the Bulls would get the defensive rebound, even if it wasn't him. Vooch obviously gobbles up a lot of those rebounds, but when he's not down there and you got guys like Scotty Barnes and O.G. Anunoby and Jakob Poeltl crashing the glass, like they're going to get destroyed, and that's really what happened. But from a defensive standpoint, I mean, you hold the Raptors to 104 points, you hold Siakam below his average, he had 20. on less than 40% shooting. OG Anunoby had 17 on less than 50% shooting. Barnes was 4 of 12. Really the only guy that had a great shooting night was Gary Trent, going 5 of 11 from 3. Yeah. I think the Bulls have really defended well. Obviously, the defensive rebounding was the issue tonight, but it's like it's a scoring. You can't win a game scoring 98 points.
Just not going to do it.
You just can't.
Not in the NBA. You're not going to do that. And shout out to Matt Peck, who told everybody to take the under on the 219 points. There you go. Even from ways away, still correct, ladies and gentlemen. Still putting it down for you. But I also thought just every time we played the Raptors, I feel like we rave about them. We kind of marvel at the way they play because it's so unorthodox, like you were saying about the lineups. Like everything's really unorthodox, but it works and it makes basketball sense every time you watch them play. Like you said, Will, you were telling me about the different defenses that they run that are really just not normal defenses out there, but they seem to work every single time they're running it out there. It doesn't matter if they're running all bigs and just have like OG Anunoby or Scotty Barnes at the point guard position. They can do things like that, but it always works for them, man. And it feels like they know when to turn it on. Of course, you can attribute championship pedigree and things like that, but Scotty Barnes wasn't there, for the championship, but he knows how to get tough. You saw him annoying Andre Drummond, trying to get the ball from him and things like that, but they're always really fun to watch, Kyle, and just full of wings, you know what I'm saying? Bone in on the wings, you know what I'm saying? They full of wings, bro, but they're fun to watch.
They're full of wings, and then they also play to the percentages, which is sometimes easier said than done. And there was multiple instances where I believe it was either Scotty or OG's man rotated off of Alex Caruso and completely left him, and it mucked up the play. And usually teams, they help off of shooters, but the Raptors just say they have certain guys that they're just okay with. Okay, if they shoot, then that's fine. And I think that's what's interesting to me is that can sometimes throw off your timing. It's you're used to the closeout coming. Sometimes the Raptors don't close out to certain people, but they're just relentless too. Yeah. They're tied with the Rockets for contested offensive rebound percentage, and it showed in today's game. They attack the glass, and it really makes you look at the Bulls roster and see outside of Patrick Williams, who's not a physical rebounder. If Vooch isn't down there rebounding, there's really not that many options at their disposal in terms of wings.
Yeah, I see a lot of Bulls fans upset because they feel Drummond shouldn't be there. AK, could you put that back for me there? DJ Joey Spathis, AK, talking about how they should have had Drummond in the game to counter the length of Toronto Bulls giving up offensive rebound after offensive rebound. Drummond's I think him more better for the defensive rebounding position, but again, Vooch, had it going from
cooking.
3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had it going, and you got to get your scoring from somewhere. As you see, this team is not a great scoring team. They couldn't get to 100 right here, so that's the dilemma, and it's going to be very hard for them to play together. But again, I will throw a Dalen Terry name out there because he's a guy I want to see. When you mentioned that word relentless, that was the first thing I thought of. Oh, yeah, Dalen. That's what he does. He's relentless to go get rebounds. Just for a couple minutes, just to see if it works, things like that. But, yeah, man, it's a tough ask, and I don't think there's any right answer when you're playing a team like this. You're going to struggle against the Raptors, man. No matter what their record is, man, they come into play, and it's going to be tough.
Well, I think what Kyle said, I want to just double down on because I think it's really true, which is the way that the Raptors help off of guys. So we all pointed this out because we all noticed it in real time when Caruso got the ball in the short roll and he just was in the middle of the floor and nobody was in front of him.
Right.
And usually he's looking for somebody to kick it out to in that situation. But the Raptors just had 3 guys on the blocks and the elbow. And so nobody was really going to smother him. Nobody was really going out to shooters. They were just standing there waiting for the Bulls to do something to beat them. And of course nobody could because they really exploit your weaknesses in a way that teams typically do during the playoffs.
Yes.
Which is leave Patrick Beverley. He fine. If you want to let him beat us with 3-point shooting, be my guest. Same thing with Caruso. Same thing with Io. Same thing with Patrick Williams. These guys aren't necessarily trusted 3-point shooters. And so that allows them to just load up on DeMar, load up on Zach, send 2, send 3 at times. And then but the other guys have to beat you, and they didn't. So I think that's a lot of where it comes down to in terms of why the offense isn't generating more points. the big three, they're doing what they can, but they're playing 1-on-2 most times. And so I think to me, this is like not a Billy Donovan question. It's more of like, this is the flaws of the roster coming back up again.
Yeah, true. Because again, I'm sitting here advocating for the rookie, you know what I'm saying, to be out there. That's a roster flaw. You know what I mean? You're supposed to have a guy in that position that can do those kind of things.
Like, I think sometimes, like, it's always, the coach is like at the forefront of everything. He's supposed to address everything on a day-to-day basis. And Billy does have his faults, but like Will mentioned, this is just kind of a roster thing. Like there's not much like if you put say you put in Drummond, like who are you taking out?
Exactly.
Like, you're not taking out Vooch. You're not taking out any of the other four.
Yeah.
It's just,
let's add even less shooting.
Let's make things more condensed for Toronto. Toronto would love that.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, cool. You guys are gonna double bet, and it's just more of a roster construction thing. I mean, and wings are like a scarcity in today's NBA. Everybody wants like the ideal two-way wing, but there needs to be
unless you're the
upgrades.
Nets. They have like 8.
They have enough.
They have enough.
That's how it is, man. I thought they also did a really great job on. You mentioned on the defense they were playing on the Bulls' two best players, the two bucket getters, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine, I mean, he didn't even touch the ball. I believe the first 3 possessions, he didn't even touch it. He didn't get his hands on the basketball. And I shot 3 shots in that first quarter. Yeah. Like he definitely. They definitely just kept him. I can't even call it struggling because they definitely were just on him. Like, nope, you're cut off. You're not doing this. DeMar, they did the same thing they've been doing since basically last season when they started it in the fourth quarter, was putting the double team on him. Yep. And then teams around the league started taking notice of that, and all of them started doing those kind of things. So, yeah, they took DeMar out and they took Zach out. And like you said, they were like, well, fine, Patrick Beverley, you get the threes. Caruso, you get these threes. Guys, you got to knock these shots down if you're going to be able to beat us. Vooch, they can live with. And I think that's what the league has kind of decided. Like, we can live with Vooch getting 23, 10. Do your thing. It's not him they're worried about. You know what I mean? Because somebody has to give him the basketball. It's the guys who can create their own shot that they got to worry about and be concerned with. And that's what the Raptors will do a great job of cutting off.
And I hate to keep harping on this because it's past. But, like, this is where the no moves at the deadline, the no moves last summer really stands out. In a game like this where the solution to beating the Bulls is so obvious. If teams wanted to like game plan a couple days in advance and just like decide that they would remove the Bulls from this game and like get an easy win, it would be very easy to do that because all you need to do is send doubles and not care about the other 3-point shooters. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult for the Bulls to respond to that. Yeah. They just don't have an answer for it. And so unless you're going to get one of those rare shooting nights from an IO or from Patrick Williams or something, it's very difficult for Zach and DeMar to beat you going 2-on-4, 2-on-5.
And
very true.
And going off of that point, even today, they had 28 assists as a team, which is a very good number. The ball was popping, but sometimes they overpass in a way, or they don't take the wide open shot, which is in relation to the roster construction, and that they don't have a bevy of like 3-point shooters on the team. Yeah. And like sometimes passing up a wide open 3-point attempt to dribble in, like sometimes it's hurting the offense. Like I believe he does it a couple of times a game, and Vooch, it's a problem within the team, and it hurts, and it shows in a game like this and when you lose such a close game.
Yeah, you see Daniel in the comments saying that Caruso open threes decides to pass it. We definitely saw that early. We saw that later on, I should say, because early on, those threes were open. They just weren't going in. I think it's definitely both of those things. Like anybody shooting the ball, if you don't see it go in, you're going to be hesitant. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying, to take that shot again.
No doubt.
Unless you just have that cold mind state of a killer, of a shooter. Like, it don't matter.
Jordan Poole.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going up. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man going up. But, yeah, unless it's like that, you're going to hesitate. You saw Io do that. Pat Williams has done it his whole time here. You know what I mean? Guys are going to be hesitant if they don't see it go in, man. And that's just kind of what it is. And, again, you don't have other shooters you can depend on and other shooters you can lean on. So that's why those things are going to happen, hopefully not too often, but definitely happen in this game right here for the Bulls, man. And it's, it sucks to see, but That's what it is when you're playing against a team like the Toronto Raptors who got wangs every damn where, all over the place, man. Oh, people are upset at Billy Donovan. They are not pleased, but they love Nick Nurse like we do. And we'll get into it after this break. We'll talk more about the Raptors. We'll take some of your super chats. Make sure you get them thumbs up going, y'all. Can you see them thumbs? Look at them thumbs on this man right here. He's Quaff King, and he's got 2 thumbs. Look at Kyle down there. Got the cool jersey, and that's a long-ass thumb, bro. Man, that is a thumb right there. I'm never playing video games with you. Dang, he winning on that one, man. But we will return, and we will talk some more with you. Now, guess what it's time for? It's time for some ads. And, of course, since it's time for some ads, that means I got to read. And I'm going to read it right. And we're going to talk about ComEd facility. Yeah. Assessments. My favorite thing to talk about. Y'all don't know that? It's not athletic greens. It's about saving money on energy. Yes, I'm very responsible. Okay. Don't let it fool you. Very responsible human being. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities we serve save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes, because I am fancy. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on when? Immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy costs, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. So, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/POWERING-biz. That's powering, because you didn't know that. Ready to sign up for a facility assessment? Call us at 1-855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative, or email them at businessee@comed.com, or request an assessment online at their website, comed.com/facility assessment. Like, the other thing why I'm really glad this young man is right here is because there's one product besides the amazing hair product that he uses.
What makes you think I don't sprinkle it in my hair?
That's a hack right there for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Life hack.
You can't give away all the secrets of the Wu-Tang, sir. You got to know your own. Come on. Don't give them all to him, man.
What was my Wu-Tang name? Violent Bastard?
Violent Bastard is his Wu-Tang name. Violent Bastard is his name. Yes, it is, man. But what's not violent is he's getting all of his AG1. No, 75. High quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and oh my God, DJ Joey Spathis, the adaptogens. To help you start your day correctly. That special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy recovery focus, and your aging, all the things that your wonderful self is going to need. Costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew habit that you might have. Cheaper than getting all them different supplements yourself. And you're investing in that all-in-one nutritional insurance. It's vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything. And it does all this while still tasting good. And to make it really easy for y'all, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of that immune supporting vitamin D, and count them out, 5 and them free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com. Oh, that's slash. Y'all, it's all right. Slash. I thought I was going to hit it. That's my fault.
I was just
you just gave it to him, just the diagonal slash?
To go.
Yeah, just like that?
Both, yeah.
I like that. Actually,
Wait,
I like that.
Was it again?
Slash.
No. What's the...
athleticgreens.com.
Slash.
CHGO Bulls. That's athleticgreens.com.
Slash.
CHGO Bulls to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance, because it's Athletic Greens. You scoop it. You dump it. You shake it. You drink it. Then what you do, Kyle?
I don't know.
Oh!
feel it. You feel it with a capital F.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yes,
Looked
science.
He's new. Hey, he just walked in the game, and I know looked him. I know looked past him.
You got to get ready for the point guardsmanship.
Got me one ready, man. I was trying to give him one. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you an easy one.
I don't know if it's that he wasn't ready. It's that we just traded for Kyle. He's first game.
That's what I'm saying.
We're running sets for him. He's
That's
still
what I said. I
playbook.
threw him a no look, just expecting him to have that. You know what I'm saying? That was just a test.
That's on me though. I gotta know that. That's on me.
See, what's that called? You know what that's called, Joey?
That's accountability.
There it is, Joseph.
Yeah, we're thumb pointers on this show. We're not finger pointers. We're thumb pointers.
Joey, we got the super chats we want to get to, man.
Yeah, we actually do. We got two so far. We got one from AK, the super fan. He says, Nick Nurse defensive scheme didn't allow Zach or Debo to get into any rhythm. Often cheating off of Beverly and Caruso, as you guys talked about a little bit. I think Billy will need to put P-Will back into the lineup, especially against bigger teams.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to touch on. That I kind of want you guys' opinion on right here. Should the Bulls be catering their starting lineup to the size? Like one of the many times I say about Billy is he's not beholden to any lineup. Like I think it should be game by game basis. I don't think they're good enough to just have a starting five and to just go with that starting five and say, you know what, that's the five we're going to run with. I don't think they're good enough for that. I think they have to go on a game by game basis. How do you feel about that one, Kyle?
I on a surface level, I agree with that like line of thinking, especially with this team. But I think for the development of Patrick Williams, I think consistency at this point, like knowing his role and being able to get shots and rhythms with that second unit would be more beneficial at this point in the season. But I do agree that like there's no lineup, there's no set lineup for this team. They're just not talented enough for that.
Well, let me ask you, why do you feel it's more beneficial that he gets it with the second unit?
I just think it's better for a young player to kind of have like that consistent role. Like they come into a game, they know who they're playing with, being able to build that like with Kobe White and Io getting that time and run together. And I think, especially for Patrick Williams, who's missed time over his first couple of years in the league, I think me personally, that would be beneficial for him is to just have that consistency, not like being, okay, this game you're in the starting lineup, this game you're back to the bench. That's just me, though.
I feel you.
I don't disagree with that. I think you are correct. But I also think we're at the point in the season where development of young players does not matter. They are trying to make the play-in by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. And if that means you got to put Patrick in to close the game, you put him in to close the game. If that means you put him on the bench to close the game, you put him on the bench. Mm-hmm. I trust Billy Donovan's decision-making when it comes to like closing lineups to make the right call because he knows what buttons to press, certainly better than I would. So I think there's a chance that we will see some more shifting guys around. Obviously, like Javonte could come back at some point. Derek Jones has been out of the rotation. He could get back in. We don't know yet, but I think right now they need to mess around with some lineups, collect some data on how those lineups perform, and I think that means playing a lot of Patrick Beverly with different groups just to get a sense of how they do and where he is most needed when he is most needed. So, I think they are clearly missing that big power forward type who can rebound and who can still play late game next to Vooch, but again, that's a roster flaw. And it's not even just like shame on you, AK, for not doing that. It's a really difficult thing to find.
Is that surprising not seeing Derek Jones Jr. in this kind of game when you got those kind of wings out there?
Well, he's been out of the rotation for a couple games now since the All-Star break when Patrick Beverly's been here. I think he adds an element where he can sort of take advantage of bigger bigs where his length can come into play, where he can dive and catch alley-oops and then, switch out on the perimeter. When there are long, lengthy, athletic wings that are longer, lengthier, and more athletic than him, I think he kind of gets overshadowed in those moments. So it makes more sense to me to maybe play the Caruso or Patrick Williams at the 4.
Okay. I kind of wanted to see him just in this kind of game, just because of the wings. And honestly, just because of that. He's so weird to me because, not as a person, but it's so weird because he'll play all these games. He's been consistent, in playing all these games. And then, like, as soon as Patrick Beverley got here, you gone. You know what I mean? Like, to the bench, we don't see him anymore. And I thought at least he would be in, like, as far as situations are concerned. And I'm not saying it still can't be that way, because obviously it's only been 3 games for it. But I was just a little surprised, though, that I didn't see him in there, especially when you needed something. You know what I mean? As far as crashing the board, he definitely does that well. He will crash the boards. He'll definitely do that. So I just thought he could provide you with a little something. But, again, I don't think it was, like, going to win you a game, to be honest, because the Raptors, as soon as the Bulls went on their run, the Raptors came right back with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, again, that's what winning teams do. That's
and even still, I mean, Derek Jones is 6'5". Like, he's undersized.
Right, exactly.
But that's all the Bulls have. Like, DeMar is 6'6".
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley's 6 foot. Caruso's 6'4". LaVine's 6'5".
They small.
Kobe White's 6'5". Io's 6'4". Like, these guys are just all smaller. And they have to play that way. Caruso has to defend up.
I always
Io
forget
has
Kobe's
to,
6'5".
Yeah.
I always forget
He's
that.
got great size for a guard, but he's still 6'5", which doesn't necessarily, help you gobble up defensive rebounds.
Yes, correct. Joey, the other super chat you got for us, sir?
Yes, sir. We got Pete. He says, Manuel, my brother, most optimistic fan, and I will be there tomorrow. CHGO merch, ? I think he's got CHGO merch incoming. Pow!
Pow!
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Pow. And by being there tomorrow, what does he mean, young Joey Spathers?
He means the watch party.
He means the watch party. That's what he means.
Not at Peanut Butter and Jelly, at Pizza, Beer, and Jukebox in the West Loop.
I'm glad you told me that.
What? Wait. Awesome opportunity to watch the game with Dave, Paco, Kyle. That's got to be like, what, $100 or $200? No.
More like $1 million, but,
Actually, it's
$1
free.
million.
Free, no charge necessary. Come out, watch with the boys. Come support.
Come hang with us, man. Like, I'm always excited to do these kind of events, just to hang with fans and listen to their takes. And they're always so happy to see us. And everybody always asks about this person right here. They want to see
the elusive one.
This man.
Kyle?
No.
That's going to you,
Who
sir.
wants to see me?
Yeah, well, you'll be surprised. You're going to find out tomorrow.
All right.
You're
I'll
going to
see you
find
there.
out. The GOAT, they are ready to see
We might need
man.
security to, like, ward them off
You
the
know
wheel.
what I mean?
It's just
You understand how I go, Kyle. You're going to have to get
everybody.
there. Give him his own section. You know what I'm saying? The GOAT
VIP.
section. Yes, GOAT section.
You do actually have to buy tickets to hang out with me.
We was gonna
Everybody
charge
else
it.
is free.
AK's jumping back in with another super chat. He says,
on,
having Javante back will help.
True,
Yes,
but again, that's
he's
that's
6'4".
another undersized person. Like he was just saying, it will help. But again, when you need size, you know what I mean? It's something another thing we'll get into, I'm sure, when the season is over, about what the Bulls are going to be needing in the offseason. But yeah, he's helpful. But as far as like size, offensive rebounding, and against teams like this, you're going to struggle a little bit, man.
It will be interesting, though, from just a rotations perspective. The Bulls are playing 9 guys right now, which is pretty much as many as you can play in an NBA game. Obviously, there's going to be situations where you go small and you bring in Derek Jones at the 5 or Patrick Williams. But, like, where does Javante fit into the rotation now that they brought Patrick Beverley in? I'm not sure yet.
It's going to be interesting to watch. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about was DeMar DeRozan. Had a tough game tonight. 13 points on 5 of 11 shooting. Got to the free throw line 5 times, but missed 2 big ones. Missed the one that they got the technical foul for the inbound ball foul call that Kyle called immediately when it happened, and then missed the other free throw down the stretch in the fourth quarter that kind of just was like, yeah, it's over right now. Yeah. He had a tough game. So I have to ask, how much do you put, Kyle, I'll ask you, how much do you put on it the defense that was being played, and how much do you put on it the actual injury that he's kind of been dealing with?
I think it's fair to say a little bit both. I mean, you got to give credit to Toronto's. Just like if you have an ideal defender to guard DeMar DeRozan, it would be kind of in that OG and Anunoby, Scotty Barnes archetype, just big enough to absorb his hits and then long enough to contest his shots. And I mean, they did a really good job in terms of like with their feet, moving their feet, sliding with him, and just not even allowing him to get the ball. That was where they were over aggressive to the point, but also controlled. It was impressive to see, and just denying him and making sure he wasn't even involved in like actions. It was just a good like effort on Toronto's part.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, one, I don't think DeMar is playing his best basketball right now.
Right.
He had 29 against the Wizards, which was great. Obviously, you want to see that. But 17 in his first game back from that injury after All-Star. He missed a couple leading up. He had 19, 16, 14. He missed a game, 19, 27, 15, 20. So he has not been playing his best ball. Obviously, tonight was really – the free throws were just like, what's going on here? But the Raptors do play him really well. He's averaging 14.5 against the Raptors this year, and it is game plan related. It is matchup related. I mean, they really take away your best scorer and your best scorers, and that's what they did tonight. I mean, Zach also really struggled.
Yeah, and they did, like I said earlier, they did a great job on both of those guys. And I like the point you made, Will. Like they're using basically their playoff defensive schemes right now, and they do that against everybody. They don't wait. You know what I mean? They go after you immediately, and they play like a team wanting to go to the playoffs. They understand what time it is, and that's kind of how they played. You know what I'm saying? And the severity of the situation, they were on full alert about it, man. That's why you saw that fire in those guys, Kyle.
No, yeah, like, I mean, they understand like where they sit in the NBA standings, and they play. They've played like that ever since Nick Nurse took over for them. Frankly.
Yeah, that's real.
Like
that's
he
real.
just whatever he does, he gets them to buy in and play hard. Which it might seem simple, but the NBA season is so long, 82 games, and for them now they're 31 and 32, I believe, and they play like the only critique I have of this team is just their half-court offense leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes.
They take a lot of tough shots, but defensively and effort, you can't question them ever.
Yeah.
But they also, I think they've figured out what they do well enough to compensate for the areas where they struggle. They're half court. They try to get out in transition. They try to generate a ton of turnovers. They try to get putbacks and easy points on the offensive glass. It's very similar, I think, to what the Bulls try to do for the same reasons. I mean, they're not a three-point shooting team, so they have to get to the free throw line. They have to defensive rebound. They have to generate steals and keep their own turnovers low. Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, I mean, the Raptors just outstrengthed the Bulls.
Yeah, it's true. It's what they did, man. They knew they didn't have that three-point shooting. They gave it to them. They knew they weren't great at rebounding. That one sequence where they got, 4 offensive rebounds on one play, like that was just
19 on the night
wraps it up.
Is the third most a team has gotten against the Bulls this year. The Raptors also have the first most at 23, which they got on November 6th. So this team has 2 of the 3 best offensive rebounding performances against the Bulls this season.
Insane.
This is what they do.
Yeah. This is what I do. That's why he's the GOAT. GOAT. Oh, man. Let's take our second break here, man. When we come back, we're going to get to some of y'all comments out there, a couple more of your super chats. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. Keep it up right there. We want to keep Will's hair right. So you want to give him that thumbs up and let him know that the hair is on point and it's perfect. That's how I roll right here. Hey, Will, you got something you want to tell the people?
I actually have a quick question first.
You have a question first? Come on with it.
Kyle, what time is it?
Game time. Who?
There it is. He is back.
He was ready for that one. Yeah,
back.
baby. Back on top.
Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals and tickets, sports, concerts, and shows. Joey, have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat that you thought you never could? Maybe the 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert? Any of those ever interest you?
It's a question Joey's asking you.
All those
things sound good?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy.
Oh my God.
You will not find a better deal this season on Bulls tickets. They've got like 20 more games left. You can still catch them at the United Center.
Back.
And guess what? It's created by fans and for the fans, guaranteeing the lowest prices. So if you love us here at CHGO, then you will love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app to score the best seats to all your favorite events. Game Time. Who? There it is. I didn't need to ask anybody because I already knew what time it was.
You just already was ready for it? Okay.
I already knew what time it was.
Will, I have a question for you.
Oh, more questions.
Yes.
Well, you see, if you already have the best coverage in Chicago for Chicago sports, is there a reason that you aren't fitted out with the best gear around? I mean, Big Dave's rocking his Bulls, hoodies, hats every day. Kyle's
true.
got the Hester jersey on.
That's true.
Unless that's a Chicago Sky flannel and you're hiding something there. I don't, So Chicago.
Well, tell me where I can get some.
Chicago, you've got the best coverage for your sports teams. So why don't you get fit? By the way, that's CHGO, in case that was not obvious. So why don't you get fitted out in the best sports gear around, and that is FOCO. Because FOCO has you covered from Soldier Field, Arlington Heights, or, I don't want to push anyone's buttons, to the living room, north side or south side, preferably north side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, and everything, as Big Dave would say, in betwixt. Get decked out like DeMar, DeRozan with apparel from the leader in sports merch, and also the leader in sports collectibles. Once again, that's FOCO. Looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life? Valentine's Day was only 2 weeks ago. FOCO's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. And it has been breezy. So check out FOCO.com or click the link in our description for all non-presale items using the code CHGO. That's 10% off. I butchered that last part a little bit.
No, you did great, man.
But man, I wish you guys,
FOCO.com. Joey's first ad read in the books. Thank you.
wish you guys could have seen
Young
it.
Spathis. Well
Thank
done.
you,
Beautiful
everybody.
thing, as
It
Dave
was.
likes to say.
In his bag.
So, I asked, did you do something for Valentine's Day? I don't think I ever asked you that.
Yeah, I did.
You want to share with people? Or you just
Share with
want-
So
Class?
we got like these, we made heart-shaped pizzas, 2 of them. It's great. Easy.
Okay.
Valentine's Day date, like avoid some of like the bullshit,
fun.
like is just fun, like chill. And then went out like over the weekend when some of the stuff had just died down. Great play. Highly recommend it. Thank
I
you.
like that. Wait, what was on the pizzas?
Pepperoni on mine.
Okay.
None for her, just cheese.
Didn't spell out I love
No
you.
spelling.
No
No
spelling.
spelling.
No spelling necessary. Okay, all right. I like that, man. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
smooth.
Say you some money. You know what I'm saying? Ain't she rolling with
You
it?
just made so many fans in the chat really depressed
Why? What did I do?
because you just told everybody that you had a Valentine.
Oh, well, you guys, I mean, I don't hope my girlfriend's not listening right now, but the commenters, they're my real Valentines.
Hey,
Love
listen to
Dave,
him.
Para Jr.,
Look at 'em.
Bulls Troy,
Yeah.
Ostas, Laura Lou. I mean, you guys, plus all you guys, you 3, Mark, Matt, you guys, special place in my heart.
Coming for it all, man. I like it, Joseph. Since y'all know me, I was a positive person, pretty much. Figured I want to talk about something that was actually good about the game that I liked about the Chicago Bulls this game, and it was 2 things. One, I like the way they played. Like it wasn't they didn't fold. You know, when they applied their pressure, like you said,
Yeah.
when they put their wheel on there, no pun intended. When they put the wheel on them, man, it didn't fold them. You know what I'm saying? It didn't shut them down. They continued to do their thing out there, and they came back with a run of their own. And then they took one, they came back with a run of their own, and then they just, they ran out of bullets, you know what I'm saying, in that 4th quarter. But I really like that about this Bulls team because I've seen those games this season where that run has happened and the game was over. And you watch Billy Donovan basically use all the timeouts in the quarter because he's so upset at them. Yeah. So I was just happy that they performed, you know what I'm saying, with that effort and that defense that they had. They're really playing to their strengths as far as defense is concerned. Just getting inside, you know what I'm saying, trying to get in the passing lanes, getting those tips, you know what I'm saying, getting those steals, and trying to run. That's really what they can do with that small ball lineup. And I thought they did a solid job of that tonight, man, especially in the second half. I was with them on that.
It was one of those losses that, I mean, you never want to lose, but it was kind of respectable in the sense that you felt like they just outplayed you. It wasn't like the Bulls lost this game. They had a 21-point lead and they blew it, or they were up 24 and they just coughed it up. Like they played well, they played to their strengths, and Billy Donovan said this after the last game. Like they're gonna have to find ways to win ugly games.
Yeah,
and this was an ugly game.
It was,
and they were right there. Obviously, they didn't come away with it, but like this is the style of game that they're gonna have to win. Obviously, I think you're in a good position if you can get to the final couple minutes in this kind of game and you can put the ball in DeMar DeRozan's hands and say, take us home. Obviously, that was not the case tonight, but I think this is sort of the recipe that they're looking for in terms of how they're going to win games for these next, 18, 19, 20 games that they have this season.
He had a couple of nice drives to the basket, a couple of mid-range shots, floaters. LaVine in the 3rd quarter, that 11-point 3rd quarter that kind of kept them in the game, and just kind of you thought LaVine had woken up a little bit, even though but it was a good to see. And, yeah, kind of going off of that, you have to win ugly games. I think probably what they're kicking themselves about is those turnovers that happened but weren't really forced by Toronto. Those bobbled passes by Vooch and Drummond, and those those would be easy baskets turned into either a tough shot or a turnover. And those are the little things that come back to bite you in a close game like this one, a 6-point game.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't fold. We've seen games where they did fold, Minnesota, or when they just got absolutely outplayed, New York, and that didn't happen in this case.
I like how you pull out both of the games where I lost my mind. I like that. Well done, sir.
Ingrained in my memory.
Yes, you were there. You had
particularly
to see
that New York game, because the loudest applause for that game was when Derrick Rose.
I'll never forget it.
And they were down 30 at home.
Yes, they were.
When that was going on.
Yes, they were. I'll never forget it. I'm sorry you had to see that, Kyle. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm glad you got to see that side of myself, sir, and just know things can't get worse. The other thing, quick before I get to this, that I liked was someone you mentioned. That was Ayo Dosunmu. I liked how he played tonight. He was aggressive. Every time he got the ball to the bucket is where I'm going, period. 10 points, 6 rebounds is what I like. In these past couple games, you've seen that he turned up his rebounding way to a whole nother level, man. Like, he's done a really good job of that. Again, a guy knowing what this team needs. You know what I mean? Like, okay, bet, well, they need me to score a little more. You saw him start doing that. Okay, they need me to rebound a little more. Let me start doing those things. I appreciated that with him. I liked how Drummond played as well. You know, his 6 points and his 10 rebounds is why everybody in the chat was saying, yo, let's get him in the game. Why wasn't he playing? Because he did a solid job rebounding tonight. Kobe White, of course, I thought he struggled, shooting. But like I said, about 2 of 7 from the field. But like I said about him, you never know that he's 2 of 7 this season. Like, he continues to play the same way, same kind of demeanor. You know what I mean? Stays focused in the game. And that's I'm telling you, it's going to pay off dividends for him, man.
Yeah, 5 assists too.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Picking that up where Ayo is like, I'm going to get the rebounds, or Kobe's like, well, I'll get these assists, And that plays into what you were saying, those guys playing together, getting their chemistry down, you know what I'm saying, on the bench and things like that. So I like those aspects of the game tonight from the bench, from the Bulls and those young guys, man.
And I've said this before, but I think it's really important for those two plus Patrick Williams, the 3 young guys that are really part of the rotation here, Ayo, Kobe, Patrick Williams, to get minutes together, to start building chemistry when they're like sort of the primary players on the court. I mean, typically it's those 3 plus Drummond and then one of DeMar or Zach. So obviously there's like a primary ball handler out there, but you're still getting some really good data on how those 3 play together and how they play with Zach versus DeMar.
Yeah.
And that can be really useful this summer when you've got to make decisions about what direction you're going to go as far as, do we trade Zach? Do we trade DeMar? Do we let Kobe or do we let Ayo and Kobe walk? Do we package them and try to go after another star? Like, there's something's going to happen this summer. I think we're all at that point.
Yeah.
And they kind of have to know what they have in these young players to determine what their next move is going to be. So I think it's really important that they get minutes, and I think it's important that they get minutes the way that they have been, which is, like I said, with DeMar and then with Zach separately.
Yeah. Well, there was one guy who was doing his thing tonight, young Joseph. It was one human being who was on top of his game, handling his business for the Chicago Bulls. He is our DraftKings king of the night. That is Nikola Vucevic, 23 points, 9 of 14 from the field, 5 rebounds, and the 4 assists. At one point was 3 of 3 from the three-point line, man. Like, he was splashing, and he was the reason the Bulls were staying in the game. Ended up 4 of 6 from 3. Like, he's the one. Like, Vuce is the one taking those shots for the Bulls, man. He's their three-point shooter, volume-wise. You don't want it to be that way, but it's good that your center, even if he's leading you in volume, can also lead you in makes, Kyle. Like, that's awesome.
And he, particularly the top of the key shot, is like he's very adept at hitting those shots. And Vucevic he's become one of their most consistent offensive players this year. He's had a very impressive season from a scoring standpoint. And, I mean, this is only a 6-point loss. And so his 23 points, they only scored 98. So that's a big bulk of their points came from Vooch. And, Stacey King always harps on how he needs to go down to the low post. And some games that's necessary. But game showed his 3-point shot making, his finishing, and it was overall he's probably the biggest bright spot in tonight's game.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, Kyle, but it's a simple game.
It's a simple
game. I don't know if you
game.
know that. I don't even know that. Well,
I've been told it's a simple
you've been told
game,
that?
yeah.
You've been told that? I've heard that. It's been rumored. It's been rumored, man. I've enjoyed them. DraftKings, King of the Night, Nikola Vucevic. Make sure you download that app. Sign up with the code CHGO. New customers can bet $5, 5 of them things, and get $200 in bonus bets. Win instantly. And you can do that only at DraftKings Sportsbooks, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Use that code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Joey, is there any more of the chats that might be super?
A couple. AK has a couple more. He said Billy just cleared up Dragic's salary to sign someone with size by tomorrow. LOL. And Luke also said earlier, he's like, who even is there to sign with size? You know, like there's nobody. Yeah, I mean, if you're going after somebody on March 1st that you need to save your season, that's probably indicative of a larger problem.
You know, even in that sense, like the power forward they did sign, Taylor, again, 6'4". You know,
Right,
he's not a big dude. You know what I mean? But he's long. He's got a wingspan of like 6'11". You know what I'm saying? Which is why he can play that power forward position. But again,
it goes back to what you guys are talking about, though. Like, you know, the time to build your rosters in the
March
summer,
1st,
not March.
Yeah.
And then AK also said, what you guys touched on a little bit, what do you guys think of some of the refs' calls tonight, palming, 3 seconds, travels, reversing calls, etc.?
Yeah, that was a little weird. There was the travel call. Was it on Caruso?
Oh, when he made that move to the basket?
Yeah,
finished
cutting
at
off the
left.
wing. And then there was a palming call. I think it was on like Zach or DeMar or something.
It was on DeMar, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, really? Are we witnessing this in the NBA? But you know what? Like, I'm past the phase of blaming losses on the refs. Like, these were early calls in the games. You can't let a game come down to one call, period. Like, if you're putting yourself in that situation where the ref is going to impact the outcome of the game, like, you're not in a position to win anyway. You have to be, what was it Windhorse was saying on their podcast recently? Like, you have to be a active participant in like getting yourself out of trouble. I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but it was a good one. You have to be more active in like not losing the games. You can't just like let the ref decide it.
I like that. I'm listening from Luke. Stop praising people who don't do stuff that fit in today's NBA.
He's very upset.
Oh, well, I shouldn't give somebody praise because they played well because you don't like how they fit. There's a bunch of players who are ass that fit in today's NBA, dog, and they play like ass. But you play well, you're gonna get some love, man. That's just how that works.
What does he mean by fit in today's NBA? Like who? Like is he? If he's
referring to Io, I think. He was upset that you guys were. He thought that Io did not play well tonight.
Oh, how dare I?
I thought it was one of Io's, clear, solid performances.
Clearly, somebody gets you 10 points and 6 rebounds and 2 assists off the bench. Clunky. Well, he didn't, shoot 4 threes. You know what I mean? How dare he? How dare he use his talents to try to help this team? How dare you, Ayo Dosunmu? Do it the way he wants. Fit today's NBA. How dare you? Come on, man.
That was a very Matt Peck answer.
Come on, dude. But dude, you gotta let hoopers hoop. You know what I mean? Like, everybody ain't gonna be the same. That's just not how it works. Sometimes, some guys are gonna do it a little bit differently. It's about buckets. Period and point blank. Did you get buckets? That's all I care about, dog. Did it go in? Swear to God. And 6 rebounds off the bench? Come on, dude. Nope. I'm rolling with that, Ayo. Good game. Keep that up. And he did that in 19 minutes. So, very solid for him, man. Tomorrow, guys. Detroit. The Pistons.
The Tons.
I see Wiseman, had a solid game recently, you know what I'm saying, with them. 23 points, about 7 rebounds, I believe. Yeah. They've got a few cast off, players, but still young. And, of course, they got my man Jaden Ivey, and I hate that he's there because I truly do love some Jaden Ivey, man. He is awesome. What are you expecting to see, Kyle, tomorrow from this Chicago Bulls team against the Pistons?
I'm expecting them to go into Detroit and take care of business against a younger team. Like
okay.
They need to. It's every game is must win at this point. You have to
Right.
take the gimmies when they come. And I mean, I know it's on the other side of a back-to-back, but
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit, Jalen Duren is out. He's still nursing his ankle. So Wiseman will be playing, and he is an athletic marvel, but you can exploit him in the pick and roll. You
Yes.
can get him in foul trouble. And kind of to Will's point earlier, I want to see more of that Io, Patrick Williams, Kobe White unit. That they've only played 257 minutes together this year. So hopefully want to see them keep growing and keep learning how to work off of each other. And against a Pistons team who, besides Bojan, is a young team.
That's real. I like that.
And I don't even think Bojan is playing. He didn't play in their last game. But yeah, they just lost yesterday to a Charlotte Hornets team
I watched that game.
that was missing PJ Washington, where LaMelo Ball broke his ankle. And they lost by 11. Like, the Pistons do not want to win games. If the Bulls find a way to blow this, I think it will be a surprise given how they've played for the first 3 games out of the break, the first 3 games of the Patrick Beverley era. But, like, I think this is almost as good a test as any to see if this team has changed at all, just in terms of the way that they're going to come out tomorrow. Like, it's a back-to-back. It's an away back-to-back. But, like, you just lost a game. You got to come out and have a big statement win.
Yeah, like Will said, every game is a game 7, or DeMar said that. Every game is game 7, but it's a must-win. They have to win these games. I know you've heard that a lot, and we've said that a lot this year about these games against these teams that with these lesser records. Like, you've got to go in and you've got to beat them, and they haven't done it a lot, this season, or more consistently, I should say. So you got to do it tomorrow, man. You have no choice. Like you said, coming off of this loss, they got to go into Detroit. Like, you can beat them, bro. Like,
They're actively trying to be the worst team in the league.
Come on, man.
You got no excuses.
They in the sweepstakes with it, man. That's what I want to see, man. All right, Joey, any words you're going to add?
Hit the like.
Hit the like.
Hit the like button. We got 167 people, only got 50 likes, so we got more likes. And then come hang out tomorrow,
Come hang out tomorrow.
Come hang out tomorrow.
Put that up one more time.
They've taken care of business against the Pistons this season. Hopefully we'll all be celebrating a win together, hanging out, drinking beers. And if not, then we can all be, crying,
because
on
misery
each other's
loves
shoulders.
company.
Exactly. Well, misery loves company, so we'll be there for each other. Group
Speaking
therapy.
of miserable, one thing I want to say before we sign out.
Okay.
The Spurs have lost 16 games in a row. 16,
impressive tanking.
1-6. They are still not the worst team in the league record-wise. That is incredible to me.
Who's the worst? Houston?
Hey, wait.
Houston.
Read this comment here from Victor and tell me what you think.
We need a lottery spin.
Should we do one spin?
You want one spin?
We do one spin.
They did get you to 50. You asked for 50, they got you 53.
We get 50. If we get to 100 before we end the show, we'll do 2 spins. But we'll just get
100
one
before the end of
spin
the
right
show.
now.
He's saying he get you 2 spins, you get to 100 before the end of the show.
Well, we're only at 53, so
That's
if we
big.
can double the amount of likes effectively, we'll go 2 spins.
okay.
But what do you
Double
guys
amount
think?
of like.
We do one spin?
Yeah, let's
do
toss
one
a spin.
Load up
Let's
the
see how
tank
it
down
go,
here.
right? See how we feeling right here. And see if they can get to 100 before.
Shout out to our
we about it
CHGO
here.
Blackhawks guys who are in the building.
They are in the building. They're going to do their show.
and-
I wonder what they'll be talking about.
This is
They
their.
have nothing to discuss. What will they be speaking about?
That guy left, right?
I
know
don't
he
know.
got traded, I
What?
believe.
Some guy. I don't know.
All
know. We'll figure it out. I have no clue what they'll be on.
They spin the wheel every
Patrick
episode.
King,
though.
God damn it.
So tune in to CHGO Blackhawks
King.
after this. All right, here we go. Where are we? Bulls sitting at 7th right now. Remember, we
Fancy
need to
that.
get top 4 to keep the pick. Otherwise,
Okay.
it goes to Orlando.
Sitting at your favorite number, 7. Here we go. Here's the spin. Hey! That is all right. The last time we did this, that's exactly what happened. They got the number 2 pick. So Scoot, come on home.
And
Here's what that
Toronto
sounds
gets
like.
Wemby.
And
How about that?
Toronto gets, the wings get wingier. This is what happens.
God, can you imagine
Ooh.
the longest team in the history of
Of the world.
in the history of the world?
That's the Monstars.
They could
get
be
him.
6'9" or taller at every
Yeah,
single position.
every single position, dude. 6'9". Oh my God, that's terrifying. Dog.
This is some good. I'm feeling a little
You
bit
feeling a little
of some good magic
Feel a little-
mojo
you
right
liking
now.
this? You liking this?
CHGO number 2.
Joey
Scoot.
Mojo. You
41
feeling
more
that?
likes and we can go for Victor.
We'll
you
roll
guys
those
wanna
over.
cut your
We'll
losses?
roll those over to the next spin. We can only do. We won the spin, so we
We
can't
won
do
the
it,
spin.
we can't do
dog.
it again.
You got
All right,
2.
fair enough.
You got to the number 2 slide. I don't think you get built better than that, bro. You did that right there. But be with us tomorrow, y'all. Like you said, at the watch party, PB&J in the West Loop to watch the Bulls game. Starts at 6 p.m. We'll be there before that. Come hang out. It's free. Make sure $2 off of all the Goose Island drafts, the $15 312 buckets. All of that will be in full effect along with all this awesomeness. We will be there, y'all. Can't wait to see y'all, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. DJ Joey Spathis. Follow him at Joey Spathis. The man, the prodigy, number 23 on the jersey, Kyle Williams. Follow him at K_Williams Media. I'm getting it together, baby. And you all know Quaff King, Will the Go Gottlieb. Follow him at Will_Gottlieb because he is grown. Follow me, Big Dave. Bow Sports.
Wow.
Bow.
In your face.
WL Sports. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep it going. We out. Peace.